everyone, this is CJ Novo 982 and today we're back for another brand new video. Today's video we have the returning Rangers roundup. The very first story we will be discussing will be Dave King and the £14 million loss for the financial year. Don't worry, we'll get there. The second story we'll be discussing two former players heavily linked and returning to the Glasgow Rangers. We will discuss them both, the pros and the cons, and who would you rather have. And as always, the third and final part of every single Rangers roundup will be picked by you, the people on Twitter, to get the voice out there. I haven't picked it yet, so I don't actually know. It's always fun. Could be anything. Could be good. Could be like the channel. Be pretty bad. But before we get there, I just want to gently remind you, if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel as we make our way to 23k. Yes, that was my wee tip to the Captain Arfield, whose birthday it is. Happy birthday. Hopefully you've wished for 3 points on Sunday, because we need it. Anyway, let's just jump into today's video, because it is a packed one. 3, 2, 1. Now, before we actually get anywhere near this financial hang, I just, once again, in case you're new to the channel, I am in no means a financial expert at all. To be honest with you, look at it. Would you trust this with your money? Who put that in the script? So I just wanted to get that out of the way before we jump into it, but let's actually get there. Dave King has obviously announced that Rangers have made a loss of £14.3 million, which obviously a double of the loss from last year up to the 30th of June, which is obviously very disappointing overall. We're going to dive in and get to Dave King's direct quotes and statements about this issue, but before we actually get there, it's also worth noting that Rangers actually declared a £3.4 million increase in turnover to 32.6 million overall before tax and earnings from 100,000 to 4.2. And you might be thinking to yourself, so how have you made such a massive loss? It's actually the operating costs, which has jumped up from 31.3 to 38.9. So to keep it really simple so I can understand it, yes, we've actually made some profits, but our expense, basically our outgoings, have also increased as well, meaning the overall loss. Now, this is actually the part of the video where I'm going to tag out and I'm just going to read directly from Dave King, which obviously is supplied on the Rangers official website. So, in Dave King's own words, he says, "On balance, the year to June 30th, 2018 was a positive one, despite the need for further change to ensure the progression that this club requires both on and off the pitch. Figures can be reviewed in various ways, but the underlying and strong message is that Rangers as a football club and a business continues to move forward. It will always be a challenge to meet the demands and expectations of the wonderful support, and that is why we continue to invest massively in our infrastructure, team and staff. It was inevitable, given our dire starting position, that the vast amount of money would have to be spent on rebuilding our facilities, the various departments within them. These costs reflect that in the figures, but it is important to highlight that the last financial year saw us normalise our financial affairs to the extent that we no longer face questions about our financial strength, which, dealing with suppliers, other clubs and financial institutions." What he's actually touching on here, by the way, is something we've actually discussed in the past in a previous video, discussing the funding and how it's increased and how we're now a steadily financial club. I know this video is going to see a massive loss, but we've already discussed this further in a video, I think about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 weeks ago on the channel. All these bloggers and everything that say, oh, this Rangers are barely paid the lights on, we actually showed the exact opposite of that. So let's continue. "This is an extremely positive change over such a short period of time, and I cannot thank my fellow directors and other investors enough for their continued support, which helped drive our club forward again. We have to reassure our team management structure, and this of course means a further spend, which we did not shrink, and neither will we neglect the infrastructure, which accounts for a huge amount of our spending, even as work goes largely unseen. Witnessing the selfless extent to which my colleagues are willing to invest, that has been truly humbling, and the structure of the loans advancement means that they can be converted to equality, which future shares are undertaken. So when analysing the financial statements under review, these loans can be viewed as equity and not a third party debt," which I always thought was very important to mention, because I already see it on Twitter. I already get tagged on all this mints and tatties and shite, saying, oh, Rangers are running up their debt and everything again. So I'm actually glad that Dave King actually mentioned that and addressed that directly. And to end the overall statement, the club also confirmed that their annual general meeting will be on Tuesday, 27th of November at the Clyde Auditorium in Glasgow. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hopefully that statement sort of rest assured you, because obviously when I seen the clickbait titles, I was like, oh shit. But I'm glad he's kind of addressed this so heavily, and I know there's a lot of people taking the piss out of him online and everything like that, but it does kind of make sense that we're going to need to spend a lot. We've obviously got the backing of the directors, we've already discussed that. They are well prepared to continue to make losses just now for the short term to get us back to where we need to be. Obviously we've got the European money, all that cool stuff going into the club now, which is going to be a massive, massive boost for next year's accounts, which isn't a part of that because, again, this losses, all this financial stuff that we're now just discussed was up to the June the 30th, 2018. During which we were knocked out of Europe very, very early by Pedro Caixinha. Thanks for that one, son. Where he signed a lot of duds on heavy wages who are still out on loan with us paying their wages. Thanks for that, son. But he did bring us Morelos and Tejas, so I'll let it go. And that, to be honest with you, is actually where I'm sitting, because I know it's up to the 30th of June 2018, so before Gerrard came, before the new season ticket money, before the European money, all that stuff that came with Steven Gerrard's arrival, like, that was all after these financial records were actually made and put forward. So I was kind of expecting a loss, to be honest with you, but doubling it does sound really, really bad. And I know if you look at it in the overhaul the last 5-6 years, we continue to make loss after loss after loss. Dave King has assured that the directors, as a joint statement, are okay with that in the short term, because that's obviously putting a lot into the club just now, and that will slowly reflect that and come back over time. I mean, I guess it's good to see that we were actually increased our turnover. That was good, but it was just our operations, because we increased a lot of the stadium and everything went behind the scenes. We spent a lot of money there as well. So where I'm kind of sitting just now is, I understand the loss. I'm not hitting the panic button just yet. I'm actually, well, I wouldn't say excited, but I'm looking forward to what it's like next year when you see the benefits of the European money and all that stuff under the Steven Gerrard regime really take hold. Because the next year's sort of financial records, June the 30th, 2019, should show that. And if there is another double loss, or if the losses continue, that is when me personally, I'm not speaking for anyone else, will start to worry, because if we're still making losses next year with what we've done so far in Europe, that would make me very, very nervous. So yeah, that was exhausting, but hopefully I've actually kept you up to date on the financial terms. Story number 2 is actually some fun. Let's have some fun and discuss some Rangers rumours, shall we? So basically, we've done the maths early in the morning. Now it's time for PE. The final we're going to be discussing in this part of the video is going to be 2 former Rangers players linked back to the club. Now, this first player kind of dropped 4 or 5 days ago, and I just refused to talk about it because I was like, nah, I'm not doing it anymore. But as Rangers continue to struggle in the creative side in the midfield, that is what we're being linked with. So once again, I'm here to tell you, Steven Davis is linked with Rangers Football Club once again. Please don't click off the video. Wait, just 1 second. It is apparently meant to be a loan for 6 months to the end of the season. Now, that is when his contract is up, so we could see a sort of repeat of when we had him last time, where we had him on loan, then we ended up signing him there. We could potentially, because he is available for loan come January, he's only played 1 game, 0 goals and 0 assists, and it wasn't even a start this season. He's available on loan, so he would be able to come up here till the end of the year and then sign on a free. And as much as I'm sort of bored with this story, because I seem to talk about it every single month now as a part of Rangers rumours, he would add creative sort of side of our midfield. I think he's very, very underrated. You look at Southampton's fans, they absolutely love him. He was a captain there before the sort of change around with the managers, and he sort of fell out of favour there. He is creative. He would be able to unlock that door that we seem to struggle. And once again, he's one of these guys with a big personality, which I want to see in the dressing room, and Steven Davis is clearly that. So that is one option, right? So I want to know what your thoughts on that. Steven Davis on loan, right? But there has been another creative midfield player that has absolutely blew up on the news in the last 4 or 5 days, because he has rejected Brentford's final contract offer. That is none other than Lewis McLeod. That's right, bicycle kick man himself. Now, Lewis McLeod was obviously played for us numerous years ago, and he was forced out the door. His heartbreaking interview when he was forced to be sold because we needed money badly at that time. The guy never got to play a final game because he was sold when he was injured. And to be honest with you, his next 2 years was blighted by injuries, and it looked like he would never quite reach what he could be. But I'm actually quite happy to be sitting here to tell you that Lewis McLeod has went about 6 or 7 months without an injury. He's been injury free. He's played 13 games. He scored 2 goals and got 1 assist in that time. Still less than Greg Docherty though, so I'm saying. Now, as it stands just now, Leeds are favourite to sign the man himself, because Leeds are doing tremendously well and they see that creative sort of side. So that is what the bookies' favourite is to go there. But as you can imagine, because he's a former Bear and because of the way he left, he's been linked with a trip back home. So the simple question of story number 2 is, who would you rather have, Steven Davis or Lewis McLeod or neither? That is what I asked the people on Twitter, and to be honest with you, 603 votes. Thank you so much for getting involved. 21% voted for neither, 35% voted for Lewis McLeod, but 44% of the people votes for Stephen Davis. Me personally, by the way, just to keep this short and sweet on my side of things, I'd say neither and bring back Greg Dockery. But that is my opinion. If you haven't done so already, please get involved in the comment section below. Now, let's have a little sponsor break, shall we? 3, 2, 1, sponsor break! Now, as always, as we've reached the end of the Rangers Roundup, it's time for the people's question of the week, and it comes from Blue and Mandarin. He said, Morelos aside, discuss what player and or players need to take the game by the scruff of the neck and become the creative force driving us forward, and when will the shots to goal ratio change for the better? That is a simple question sent in by the man himself, so get involved. Let me know what players need to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, who's got the talent but it's just not quite getting involved yet. I'm going to get involved in the comment as well because I actually quite like that one, so shout out to the man himself. That is going to be the end of this week's Rangers Roundup. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you haven't done so already, please consider smashing that like button as it helps others find the channel on our journey to 23k. And if you want to support the channel directly, like the 31 other legends so far, the link to the Patreon will be in the description below. I've been CJ Nova92. Thank you so much for watching the video, and bye bye.